Tonight I'm going to particularly focus on some home truths, as I would like to call them, and what can only be described as a housing crisis in the UK. There's a number of dimensions, but I'd like to highlight four. I think there's a crisis in planning. I think there's a crisis in affordability, in access, and in the standard of our housing. Over some 30 years, 3 decades, there's been a disastrous housing policy. The cost of buying a home, renting a home, and running a home has increased much, much faster than wages. When interest rates rise, as they will, hundreds of thousands of people will be in the threat of dispossession. Already, 60,000 households, perhaps 200,000 people, are in temporary accommodation. And there are many already homeless, and there will be more. While in the order of 1 million houses lie empty and unused. Ordinary, hard-working people. Sorry, actually, forgive me. I meant to say overworked and hard-up people have stretched themselves to breaking point to buy a home. Those that can't buy a home are subject to high and increasing rents, short-term, often insecure, and unequal tenancy agreements. Our housing stock is amongst the worst quality in Europe. For millions, the elderly, the poor and the disabled, meeting the energy costs of running a home can mean the choice between eating and staying warm. That is true fuel poverty. It's not just causing personal misery and illness, of course, there's a social cost as well. It causes an unnecessary call on the National Health Service. But what's really important, and what I really want to say to you, is that it doesn't have to be this way. Now, I said there was a crisis of 30 years in the making, of misrule and neglect. But actually, the current coalition government's policies have made things much worse. They've attacked the poor through housing benefit and bedroom tax. And their latest Help to Buy, that scheme, really, well, it's just truly bonkers, isn't it? Let's be frank. It's market fundamentalism gone mad. It's a short-term fix of the worst kind. It'll stimulate further house price inflation and make the situation now and in the future. It's so obvious. What's really shocking is our fundamental human need for a secure and affordable home has been traded for private, bank and corporate profit. A fundamental human need. That's got to be a scam, hasn't it? That's got to be a sleight of hand. It's a ruse in which the majority do and will continue to lose. The big secret is that it's not just shameful, it's not just divisive, and it's not just ridiculously expensive for everybody, it's also just plain stupid. It really doesn't have to be this way. Don't believe, though of course these are honourable professions, any politician, economist, mortgage broker, banker, landlord, or estate agent who tells you that it has to be this way. Because there is a better, smarter, greener way. So, I'd like to talk to you now about green policies on housing. Of course, there's a lot of detail to be had, so I'm just going to summarise right now, because I'm sure you'll be very happy for me to do so at this point. But what the basis of them is defending the need of people, of us all, of my family, your families, our children for a secure and affordable home, now and in the future. It's defending the need for healthy and resilient communities, but also addressing the vital, urgent and important need to address the long-term challenges and opportunities facing all households, facing all of us, in terms of the environmental crisis and specifically climate change. So I'd like to share some key points, some bullet points, as an outline of our housing policy for Stroud and for other districts. What we propose, what is our policy, is to ditch the right to buy. What we propose is to make rented and owned accommodation affordable at every level through support for self-build, rent-to-room and right-to-rent schemes. We propose to make homes and communities more resilient to the effects of extreme weather events through improvement schemes and flood defences. We propose to make the cost of running a home affordable by creating free installation, microgeneration and setting high control and energy performance standards for new build properties. But with special relevance to the Stroud District, as I said, as we await the housing allocation numbers. And though we have the local group, the Green Group, have deep reservations about the underlying assumptions, and about the number, density and design of the housing that is proposed, and specifically of the role of self-interested commercial developers in the decision-making process about this housing allocation. We say yes to more houses, to more homes, but with very, very, very much higher energy standards, including microgeneration and district heating, with proper infrastructure and sustainable transport links, proper services, communities centred on people and not traffic, and in harmony and wherever possible, enhancing the natural environment that are in and around them. And in the process, creating hundreds of thousands of jobs in the UK wide, I haven't calculated the number locally, in the work of building flood defences and community resilience and solar installation and wall installation. The fundamental need for access to secure, affordable home has been traded in for a private, corporate and bank profit. Enough is enough. There is a better, smarter, greener way. It's not radical to say that. It's common sense. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise.